Hi everyone and welcome to Creative Chelsey. This week I'll be sharing with you my paper pumpkin alternatives using the June 2024 paper pumpkin kit called Life is Sweet. This beautiful kit creates 9 cards, 3 in these 3 gorgeous designs. I love the pastel colors, the fun glimmer greetings, and the watercolor fruit die cuts. These cards were really fun to create, and if you're interested in watching me unbox the kit or create these original cards, you can click on the playlist and I'll link it up here in the top right corner. Today I'll be sharing with you my first alternative card using some of the fun elements found in the kit. The fun thing about this card is we're going to be doing some coloring techniques to really help these images stand out. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need is the pink and white card base. We're going to go ahead and cut along that score line, which is at 4 1/4 inches. And then we're going to trim off the white along the edge. What I'm going to do is just kind of line up that line in the middle of my guide and cut, and it should just cut right off. And then you can kind of rotate and do the same thing. This doesn't have to be exact, so if you cut a little bit more off, that's fine. So it looks something like this. From that back piece, we're going to trim a 3/8 inch strip just from the bottom. And we're going to use that for our greeting on our card. Some of the other things you're going to need from the kit is this large fern, as well as the large cherry and one of the large peaches. And I'm using the one that's a little darker and the leaf goes off to the right. It doesn't really matter which ones you use, but I do use all of the die cuts in my future alternatives, and so it might matter in some of those cards. I'm also using the Thanks and Beyond dies. I'm going to use this label die, but I have also used the Thanks as well as the butterfly, the outline, and the insert on some of my future projects. So if you don't have these dies, I definitely recommend getting them. They coordinate with all 3 kits from this last quarter, and so they're really great to have in perfect coordination product. So let's go ahead and get started. I've cut out that label with some pool party cardstock, and so that's all ready to go. So one of the things that I wanted to do to this pretty in pink pattern paper was just make it a little darker along the edges and add some splattering. So Poppy Parade ink is the red that coordinates with the cherries. And so that's the color I'm going to use. If you have a different red that you'd like to use, you're welcome to do that. To do that blending, I'm just going to pick up some color on a blending brush and then just blend it onto the edges of my pretty in pink pattern paper. Let's just get a little bit more, maybe in this corner. And then just kind of rub it in a circle just to kind of blend it from that dark to the light. And it's really fun. It kind of helps just kind of create a glowing aspect in the center of the cardstock. Then I'm going to take my marker and just do a little bit of splattering. And I just love how it gives that kind of distressed texture to it. Go ahead and clean up your space. I should mention really quickly that if you've been waiting for the glass mat to be available to customers, it is now, and I love using it, especially for that quick cleanup. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to a card base of Poppy Parade, which is that same red ink color that I used. So for our pool party label, you're going to take your fern and you're going to trim off some leaves and we're going to look for kind of 3 leaves. What I'm looking for is the side. So like if you look at this side, all of the tops are single leaves. But if you flip it over, we have a couple that are double leaves here. Okay. Actually, this one is a double. Nope, that's not quite. So what I mean by it is it's just kind of standing straight by itself. But this one, you can kind of see they're a little bit more into a V shape. And there's only one that's like that. And so it's kind of this one and this one together. And it creates a V with the stem as well. So we're just going to go ahead and trim off that stem. And when you trim it off, you want to kind of give the leaf that it was connected to a nice smooth edge so that you can use that leaf as well. And my scissors have a little adhesive on them. So now that I've removed that base, I'm going to remove it from the other leaves that it's attached to. And so again, just kind of smooth out that edge so that you get a nice look. If you have any that are like this, we will work on those when we use that piece. So from here, we're going to separate these two now. And do you see how this one on the left, the stem comes down and then touches that leaf? That is where we're going to separate it, is on that stem. So it's going to be a small one, okay? So the one on the right keeps that bottom leaf that's on the left. And then come up here and again, just kind of smooth out the leaf. So we have this one that has 3 leaves. Then we have this one that has kind of 5 leaves. And we're going to tuck it in underneath, but I'm just going to kind of smooth that part off. This will get hidden underneath where we're going to tuck it. So we have those 2 now. And then we're going to go ahead. So this is kind of where we cut it out. And then this one directly underneath it, it has 3 leaves that we're going to go ahead and remove. Now, if you just want to choose 3 sections, that's fine too. So if this is maybe too much detail and you're like, I'm just going to pick 3 leaves and cut them out, that is just fine. Okay, so we're going to go with one that's a little bigger and then 2 that are smaller. All right, so we're going to start with our cherries. Oh, and I should mention that these 2 colors are really similar. And so what I did is I wanted to darken up the stems and leaves of the cherries by adding a little bit of Shy Shamrock. So you can use either the large ink pad or the Stampin' Spot that came in the kit. And you'll need to have a little blending brush again. So I just have this little small one. Pretty much the same thing. Blend off on your glass mat first, and then you can go ahead and blend onto those cherries. You want to try to keep the ink just to the top of the stems and leaves. Try not to blend too far down into the cherries. And what that's going to do is now give us more contrast between the pool party label and the leaves. But we see some of that watercolor still poking through. So you don't want it to be so dark that you don't see the variation in the die cut. So when we add this, we're going to start by just adding some dimensionals to the cherries and kind of place them down a little lower so that we can tuck the peach in underneath. This is going to go towards the center. So you're going to see a little bit in the corner and at the bottom showing. So it's going to look something like that. Then you can take your peach and we're going to just add it with a glue dot. And I did use up all the glue dots that came in the kit. So So I'm just going to grab some other glue dots that I have, but you can use glue dots from either the kit or from past kits, anything like that. So this is going to go right underneath those cherries. The leaf will come off of the label. Okay, so it'll just look like that. We want to leave a little space here for our greeting. Now we're going to take our leaves, flip those over, and add a glue dot. I'm just going to add it close to the bottom. It's okay if a little bit of that glue dot is showing because we're going to tuck it underneath. So this one I'm going to tuck underneath my peach. Kind of like that. And then these two here, I will tuck one on the top underneath my cherries and try to maybe also get underneath that peach. So right there. And then another one underneath on the other side. Just like that. Okay. So there's our label. We have our leaves, our peach, and our cherries. And now we're going to do our greeting. So you're going to go find that strip. This is that 3/8 by 4 1/4 strip that we cut off from the back of our pink card base. You're going to get your Shy Shamrock ink spot. I'm just going to use my larger one because it's a little easier. And then find the greeting you want to use. For this card, I'm going to use You're Truly Amazing. And when you stamp this, we're going to need to stamp it twice. So stamp it first off to one side, right in the center of that strip. Then you're going to take your paper snips or another pair of scissors and you're going to cut it off. You're going to do Your and Amazing. But when you cut it, you need to cut really close to the word truly so that you have a similar border all the way around. And we'll do the same here. Trim off truly and then make sure to give amazing that same border all the way around. So do you see? I'll show you what truly looks like. So there's how truly looks. We're not going to use this truly. We're going to use Your and Amazing. And then this leftover, this leftover cardstock here is where we're going to stamp truly. So stamp that in the center. So do you see how we only have truly here? And then we're going to trim off Your by cutting very close to that E, and then Amazing by cutting really close to that A. And now we have all three words with a border, a nice even border all the way around. Okay. All right, so once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and add our text to our card. And I've placed some dimensionals. Oh, that's quite crooked. So put your label on straight so that you know which way it is. And then just kind of place your greeting slightly angled. Let's go truly. You can have it kind of layer a little bit if you want, so there's no gap between the words. Here, we'll put truly on top. Just like that. Okay. So You're Truly Amazing with this cute arrangement of fruit. On the back, we'll pop on some more dimensionals. And then go ahead and add that to the center of your card, just a little higher than middle. And then I wanted to add a little bit of these beautiful, they're kind of like vanilla pearls. So I'm going to go ahead and pop two kind of close to the bottom corner, and then one small one up near the top, and my card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create my first alternative using the June 2024 Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you're interested in seeing written instructions or close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you would like to subscribe to get your own Paper Pumpkin subscription, you can do so using the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.